Welcome everybody to episode 11 of the Aim Gamescast. I'm your host Scott Mills, the Microsoft/PC expert. I'm joined on my left by Brett Wolf, the PlayStation expert.
Hola.
And I'm joined on my right by Eric King, the Nintendo / a little bit of everything expert.
Yo, what's up?
And you'll notice we've got a special guest, a new special guest today. We're very happy to have Nick, Eric's brother,
Hey, what's up?
joining the Gamescast today.
What is he an expert on?
He's probably more so than me, a Microsoft/PC expert on video games. So we'll be excited to hear some
Nick, tell us
perspective
about
on that.
yourself. What are your video gaming interests?
I mostly play Xbox shooters. On PC, I play a lot of RTSs, and I don't know. I just play a lot in general, mostly on Xbox.
Very good.
Hmm.
So I think we were talking before the Gamescast. There was game Crackdown 3, and you said you wanted to try that out. So I know that critically it hasn't gotten the best reviews.
It was one of the worst review scores I've ever seen from
It
a
might be.
brand new it's not first party, but exclusive game.
It might be the lowest reviewed game that I've seen get hyped up for that long.
There was a lot of Xbox fanboys trying to justify this game as, gonna be a big hit, and then I'll be honest, when I saw the review scores coming in, it brought a smile to my face. It did.
Smile. Why would you
Why
smile?
would you ever want to see a game do bad?
Yeah, all
Because
those developers
because
and
it's the
games that
Xbox
work there.
fanboys are trying to hype up this game and think it's gonna be the next best thing, and it sucks. So good.
Well, I would rather see the Xbox be successful. So
Yeah, competition.
Yeah, I don't want those developers to lose their jobs or nothing because they
No, they'll
put
get
out
a
shitty games.
they'll. I think video game jobs. I don't know anything about the video game industry as in terms of people working there, but I mean, there's always people. Once you finish a project, usually you get laid off from the job and then you go find a different position at a different studio. That's usually how it works. Unless you're like a bigwig at like a certain studio, a lot of these people are contracted to just finish a game for 6 or 7 months, and then they get laid off, and then they go find work somewhere else.
And that also requires people to have to move places too.
Hey,
Right,
hey,
but that's why there's so many studios in, let's say, like Santa Monica. Xbox created the Initiative, which is based in Santa Monica, and so is Sony Santa Monica, and there's another studio out there too that's pretty big. But I mean, there's tons of video game developers in California for people that live in that area. Now, I guess if you worked at like Bethesda, which is in Maryland, I guess, good luck. But
yeah.
Any thoughts on Crackdown 3 from you, Nick?
Well, have you played it yet? At
I have
all?
not played it yet.
Okay, so
I just gotta play it first, and then I'll have an opinion on it, I guess.
so you'll bring that opinion back to the table on
Yeah.
your next appearance.
Do
Okay.
you think you're going to agree with the 60 overall scores?
I have no idea, because sometimes I don't agree with those scores at all with some games that I really enjoy.
Well, I heard Brett was telling me that you can't have a party online in that game. I don't know if that's
Oh,
true
really?
or not.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
You said that, right, Brett?
Yeah, it was on the official Discord channel for Crackdown. Let me try to find it really quick while we're on that topic. So Nick, let me ask you this. So, seeing those review scores, they don't.
I haven't gotten to see all of them. Like,
Well,
hardly any.
knowing the review score as Scott, you said it was 63%,
63
right?
on the OpenCritic,
on
which
OpenCritic.
is what we're using for our
Yeah, that's
fantasy.
negative points if we
games.
went on.
So-
Yeah. Nobody drafted that game.
Well, so you said that you're excited to play this game because you played 1 and 2, Crackdown 1 and 2.
one.
So you played 1. So, do review scores for you, especially in this case, do they ever make you, I guess, hesitant to buy the game, or because you've been waiting for this game for such a long time, it doesn't really matter? You're gonna try it. Well, plus it's on Game Pass. You have Game Pass.
Yeah, I have Game Pass.
So,
I mean,
really,
I'm gonna
it's-
give it a try either way.
Right.
So,
He wouldn't have tried it if it wasn't on Game Pass, I doubt. Especially with these scores that it had.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
look up
so-
that thing really quick.
Were you? What thing?
Damn it, Scott. No, for the Crackdown 3,
parties
something about like not having parties, and it was on Reddit.
Because I'm sure.
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
online.
online.
Okay,
Sean.
let me just read it. Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone. I'm not sure what Wrecking Zone is. I'm assuming some type
I'm
of
assuming that's what they've been like hyping up with all those videos where you
that,
destroy everything.
yeah, okay. That will not support lobbying with friends at launch via the official Discord. So.
Okay, well, there's also the thing with a lot of games that come out, you could see improvements.
But
Like if the developers keep updating the game as it
But
goes along,
that brings me
it could get better.
That brings me to the point of, should we give that leniency to developers who are pushing this game out at a $60 price tag and saying, "Don't worry, we'll make this better later." Should we hold them responsible for what they put out on day one?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I think it's understandable with games like Apex and stuff like that because you're getting it for free. You're not paying right up front, and yeah, I don't think you should give them any kind of leniency, especially
It is
when it's
frustrating.
been in development for 5 years. It's been pushed back how many times? Like,
I mean, I don't think anybody gave Destiny 2 any, I didn't. I didn't clap my hands saying, "Wow, they finally did it." Like after 3 years, they finally, have it looking. Destiny 2, I'm talking about.
yeah.
Where when it first came out, it was pretty much a carbon copy of Destiny 1, and nothing really, all the improvements they had from Rise of Iron and the Taken King, they just kind of like scrapped all that, went back to the basic formula for Destiny 2,
Yeah.
and then now they put out the Forsaken, which came out last year. So I think Destiny 2's been out for over a year and a half now. But that game didn't come out as polished when it came out. So I don't give Bungie any credit for that. That game got released at a $60 price tag. That game should have been ready to rock and roll and
Well, I
a
don't
fun
know what was
experience.
the big issues with that game. I don't think there was any.
I mean,
In
in terms of server issues and stuff, there was not. It was pretty polished.
I think the biggest critic was in terms of I think the end game
In-game
was a problem
content, yeah.
for a lot of people. That
Yeah.
it was the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I don't know if
And-
I'd say polished. It was pretty polished as far as gameplay went, but
Yeah.
maybe once you got to the end game, they didn't have enough content.
So I feel like I didn't really delve too much in the end game. Once I got to my highest light level, I was kind of done. But I know a lot of people. I'm sure people if different reasons, comment on the video below. But I know the end game wasn't one of the biggest sticklers, and I know they had some criticism with the Eververse and everything like that because that was basically loot boxes too. You would spend so much. I think it was silver or something, and then you get a random bunch of cosmetic items. So, but besides that, I guess we'll see about Crackdown 3, and we'll get Nick's impressions on it next time he's on the podcast.
That's right. Sounds good. There are also, from our fantasy video games draft, we're finally starting to see some of the results come in. We had 2 games come out this week that were drafted by us. For me, I drafted Farcry New Dawn. Came out Thursday.
What was the other one?
And
I thought it came out
the
yesterday.
other game, I think it was Thursday.
The review scores of the game.
The game scores started coming out Thursday too, but I mean,
I think the game
it
came out
constantly updates as new critics are posting new scores.
Well, I think it's pretty much done being updated at this
Yeah,
point.
at this point, I think it's
Yeah, the people that got their reviews, already put them out.
Yeah, so it got a 74 on OpenCritic, so I got 4 points for that game. It was my 3rd round pick, so that's a little bit disappointing for that. Nobody counterpicked it, so it would have been a good one to counterpick.
Yeah, because I don't think many of
Otherwise,
these games that we picked, I don't think there's really any good candidates for a counter pick. You
Well-
just gotta kind of help you get the least amount of points.
Well,
lost.
your not to change the subject really quick, but your counter pick is coming out next week.
What's that?
Anthem,
Oh, yeah,
That's right.
which is already available for people on EA Early Access and Origin. So, but I don't think any reviews are going out until they actually play through the multiplayer. Because I don't think EA gave out review copies for the game. I don't believe they did. So everybody's playing it right now and trying to get the reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, Far Cry New Dawn,
Yeah, I was a
74.
little bit disappointed in that. Hoping for even more points from that. I guess it's supposed to be kind of an expansion on the Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I don't know how I overlooked that on the counter picks because I picked Dreams as one of my counter picks.
You were hyping the game throughout the whole episode, and
then
then
you
when I made the
counterpicked it.
pick, and then you're like, you know what, Dreams.
I was just kind of maybe it won't come out again this year, but
I think we all know that game's gonna get probably above 85.
Yeah.
And that game's gonna be revolutionary.
I could see mid-90s on that game.
But anyways, that's not about dreams. But yeah, I think I enjoyed Far Cry 5. I thought the ending was kind of weak. The ending is when you're with Joseph C, who's like the main villain of the game, and you end up in a bunker with him. And he's going off on like his prophecy. He's Jesus, rant.
Okay.
And then like this game picks up, I believe, 17 years after the initial bombings, and you're trying to like redevelop the world and stuff.
I
And
read online that it was like a linear game. I think kind of like sort of like Primal was. I think 'cause that was sort of linear as well. But
Yeah, I heard that they didn't really do a whole lot different than what was done in Far Cry 5, and it was still just kind of the same stuff.
I was one that I got the
from what I
platinum.
saw.
I got the platinum trophy
Really?
in Far Cry 5, and
Yeah.
I I was off that whole week because it came out, I believe, on my birthday. I played through the whole week, and I was upset. It was such a fun game for me, but I feel like what I've read on some of the reviews that some of the characters kind of fell flat, and there was a bunch of like character development. Again, these critics are grading the game on an overall everything, voice acting and gameplay and story and dialogue and assets and all this stuff. Like, I'm sure the game's gonna be fun for people just casually playing. But for people looking for like a God of War type of game, which I guess is like our new benchmark in terms of like games in the past,
Yeah,
year.
that was the game of the year, so
Yeah.
that's the benchmark.
And I think it was all of our
Trying to
game
get
of the
to.
years when we collectively, I think we all chose God of
Well,
War, except for you.
because I didn't play it.
But yeah, I mean, I for $40, I mean, I can see, I mean, I'll probably get like $20 maybe, if it's, if it's marketed as like an expansion DLC thing.
well, I have a feeling it's not going to be selling too well, so you might see some discounts.
And plus, Ubisoft
Pretty quickly.
always has some pretty decent sales,
Yeah.
especially during like I think Black Friday has a really good sales. So, right,
Well, it'll be on sale before Black Friday, I'm sure.
yeah, something like a really good sale. So.
Yeah, I would expect a sale within the next couple of months. The other game that came out this week was drafted by Jared,
Even worse.
and he had the 5th round pick. He drafted Metro Exodus, and that game's sitting at an 83 overall on OpenCritic. So Jared is out to the early lead in the draft with the
9
13
points ahead of
points. So yeah, he definitely drafted. That's a pretty good score. I think he'll be pleased with that score for a 5th round pick.
I feel like he drafted. Did he draft Metro later than Scott drafted Far Cry?
Well,
Yes, because that was the 3rd round pick was
Yeah.
Far Cry, and his was the 5th round.
So he had the first pick in the 5th round to Metro Exodus.
Pretty good 5th round pick, I guess.
Yeah.
83 overall.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah. Far Cry New Dawn. Oh, jeez.
That hurts. Oh.
I can't
I
believe that was a 3rd round pick though. That's crazy.
don't have any,
Yeah, I guess I couldn't think of anything.
I don't have any
else at that
opinions
time.
on Metro because I never played any Metro. I just know like
Me neither.
Commodore already has like, I listened to his podcast, Colin's Last Stand, and he was bitching about them never giving him a review copy.
Oh, I seen that too. Yeah.
Yeah, which I do think in the future, I think we should start reaching out to some of these like developers and see, hey, we'll try to add a video together and like make a review for you guys and talk you guys up.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
at
ability.
least, at least try. I don't know how
Yeah.
successful we'll be at first, but
Well, he was even saying that somebody with like 500 subscribers got a copy of
Yeah.
Metro Exodus. So I guess it's like who you know and how you present your company.
Well, I guess he doesn't get along with somebody in the company or something. Because
Yeah.
of his political views.
Which is bullshit. Let's all be professional here. And hey, he's a decent sized channel. He's a big gaming personality. Like, let me get a fucking copy. But yeah.
yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that next week. The game that I picked, Anthem, is coming out next Thursday, I believe is the release date for that. I'm going to be buying that game. I don't know if I'm going to be buying it for PlayStation or Xbox. Eric, are you going to be getting the game? I know you've been kind of on the fence about
Still
getting
on the
it.
fence about it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Usually I make up my mind by now, but I think I'm just going to wait on the reviews for this because
Yeah, and you counterpicked Anthem, so you're kind of expecting it not to get great reviews.
Apex kind of threw a wrench in that too because I was pretty on board with it, and then Apex came out, and I'm really hooked on that game. So
Yeah.
I just don't know if I want to. Plus, I got 2K now for PlayStation, so that's taking up some more time. So I don't know. If it gets good, like 90+ reviews, I'll probably get it. But
90 plus reviews.
It's probably not
That's,
going there. So
pretty-
Oh my God.
pretty
I'll
high.
put it at 85. If it's over 85, I'll get
You'll
it.
get it, yeah.
But I don't even think it's gonna be over 85. So.
Alright, how about you, Brett? Are you gonna be getting?
Yeah, I already have it pre-ordered.
Yeah, for PlayStation.
For PlayStation, yeah.
Are you excited?
To be honest, not really. You just fucking spit out of your mouth something, dude. Do you see that? That's fucking nasty. Well, I won't even be like home to play it on Friday, even though I'm off, because I'm going to the comedy club in Columbus, Eric Andre. So, I probably on Saturday I have a haircut and I have a wedding shower to go to for my friend Colin and his fiance Chelsea. So.
Oh, is this the same Colin that
Yeah.
created our logo?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
So
good.
a wedding shower for that
Yeah, so
day.
congratulations on that.
Yeah, so
To-
I don't
to
know.
Colin.
I don't know when we will play the game. Like, that's why maybe I'm not hyped for it, because I won't be able to play it like immediately. So it's kind of just
Yeah.
like, blah.
Well,
And
I'm definitely hyped about it. I think it'll be, I think it'll get good score. I think it'll be in the 80s in terms of score. So
I think if it's
that's what
not,
I'm
that's a
expecting.
problem.
Well, yeah, for my fantasy,
It's not-
games,
it's
those
really
are not the
good.
games.
Really
It's
bad.
gonna be
That's it.
struggling.
Do you know what round you picked them in?
Hold on,
No,
Nick
I
was
wanna
saying
say-
something. Nick was saying something.
What is
I was
it?
just saying, if Anthem does bad, that's gonna be pretty bad for EA after that.
Yeah, because
After Battlefield did really bad for them.
yeah, I mean Battlefield was decent. I wouldn't say it wasn't a disaster.
Didn't
Kinda
sell
like-
very well compared to the past ones. though.
They at least like put out a game that was usable. I'm like, I don't know if you remember Battlefield 3 when that came out.
Yeah.
That was a fucking mess when that came out. But
Even Battlefield 4 was a mess when
Battlefield
it came out.
4,
I mean,
Yeah.
what's the last
Yeah.
like good EA game that's come out that's not like a sports game or something? Like FIFA and Madden are obviously good every year, but other than that, I don't know what the
Yeah.
last game.
Wait,
they put
hold
out
on.
was.
Well, let's back up there. Like, what makes Madden's different year over year?
I didn't say it was different. I just said.
Well, you said it was
every year.
good.
It's good every year. Yeah. It's the same thing, but
Well, there's no competition for
It's
it.
basically just an update.
Well,
You just
so
updated
they have
rosters.
The contract with the.
I mean, are you okay with that, paying a $60 game for updated rosters?
Well, it's the same thing with
Yeah.
2K. I mean, we
I'm
buy that
not a
every
big
year.
football
like,
fan, so I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I mean, clearly people are okay with that.
So you don't want EA to kind of like push the NFL video game genre and like try to.
Well, like I've said before, I would like to see like a sort of like a my career mode on that, sort of like 2K has. I think that would be cool, but I mean, not buying the game, I don't think it's gonna change anything.
Could
They're
be.
either gonna do it or they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, see, like sports games are tough because it feels like there's always just updated rosters and different pictures and shit. Like,
Because they need competition, they don't have much.
Well, yeah,
competition
2K,
anymore.
2K really stepped their game up when they came out with my career, so I think I could do the same thing, but they're already, like you said, they don't make competition, so they have no reason to really
Yeah, they
put
know
much
they're
effort
good.
into it.
right, right.
But like I was saying, what's the last good EA game that came out? Same way, you know?
The last
Like,
good one.
what do you
Yeah.
mean by good? Like, got in
I
over
guess-
an
I guess-
85?
I guess good review,
reviews?
well reviewed game, because I mean, I don't know, Battlefronts didn't get real.
I mean, I thought Dragon Age Inquisition got decent.
Oh,
reviews.
well,
that-
yeah, that
yeah,
was the
what was
new
that?
game.
That
of
was
the year.
2014.
That
A
was
long time ago.
2014.
Yeah, that was
2014, 5
coming
years
up
ago
on
was
5
their last
years
good
ago.
game.
I remember when I bought it on day one.
Because I know Andromeda, that was a disappointment for everybody. I didn't play
Yeah,
it.
BioWare's been struggling lately. So
Battlefront was really
Battlefront
Yeah,
was
nobody
really
That
bad.
was a really
I don't
bad.
think anybody liked that. Well,
Yeah.
certain people like Battlefront, but the
Makes
vast
sense.
majority did.
Only because it has a Star Wars, shit behind it. If it wasn't a Star Wars game, nobody would probably play that fucking game anymore.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but going back to Anthem, are you gonna be getting it?
I'm
Nick,
not
do
gonna
you
get
think?
it at launch. I'm not
No.
very excited for that game. I mean,
Okay.
it looks pretty. It looks like a lot of games now. It doesn't look like it has anything special to it really, but
When I was playing it, it plays a lot like a Destiny type
yeah,
of
that's
game.
what I figured. It looked similar.
Watch
The,
what you
the
say about
flying
it, Nick, 'cause-
mechanics are kind of cool.
Watch what you say about it, Nick, because Scott gets very defensive since that's one of his games he picked.
Yeah,
Oh, he picked Anthem.
He,
I did.
Yeah, didn't
he always comes to the defense of.
did he get mad at me because I picked Cyberpunk 2077 as a counter pick?
yeah,
He
that was my
started-
first pick. That was my first round
Oh,
pick.
Scott was getting like all
The game's
mad.
coming out
He's
this
like, well, you're wrong. It's coming out this year. They got the government grant.
That's right.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be out by June.
Yeah.
Right? But
But he's like, it doesn't come out by June. I really don't know what happens.
No,
We
yeah.
haven't heard much on
I
that.
think we're gonna
It'll be
get
coming out in
a
June.
trailer at E3. It's not coming out in June, but we're gonna get a trailer in E3, and it's gonna have a release date in the holiday season of this
I
year.
can't wait. It's gonna be like January 15th of
We're
2020.
gonna be calling them for CD Projekt Red. You have to move this
It's gonna be
game
next
back 2
gen,
weeks
for sure.
It's
so
gonna be next
that
gen.
I can get it on.
Nick has an opinion on Cyberpunk 2077.
I would
Yes.
say it's gonna be a next gen launch title for sure.
You think? See, well, I think next gen's
No,
coming out next year. I
But
don't
they've
know
said
yet.
it's going to be a current gen
Well,
title.
yeah.
Well, it could be both. It could, be like a current
Yeah.
gen and then a launch. I don't know about a launch for the next gen. I don't know. We'll see. I guess, but because I don't know when you think next gen's coming out. I'm assuming next year probably.
That's a good question. I mean, it's definitely gonna be announced this year. I'm sure the consoles at least.
Well, Xbox already announced,
They've already been
Yeah,
talking
they're-
about theirs.
They're working
Sony-
on it, yeah.
and Sony previous CEO, we'll get into that later, but John Codera mentioned that they were working on next gen stuff too. So both of the big two companies, Nintendo already has their next generation console on the Switch out.
How
So-
far ahead of the Xbox One X coming out did they actually announce that
E3.
it was coming out?
Announced it at E3, I believe the year before. So Xbox One X came out in what, 2017, right? Or 2017.
See,
So
but
fall, and then we got announced at E3 in 2016, I believe.
yeah, so I mean, it could get announced this year and then come out next year, but I don't know if that's a good benchmark though, because that wasn't actually like a next gen
Right.
console. It was just kind of an upgrade.
I'm not sure about, like I said, I'm not sure about Xboxes, because I wasn't playing video games in college. I'm not sure when they announced like their Xbox One, but I know Sony did theirs in the winter of 2013, and then they talked about it, they announced it, they showed it off at E3, and then they released it in the fall. But I'm not sure about what Microsoft. I mean, Nick, you might remember what Microsoft did.
I'm not sure the exact date, but I remember they had their own show for it. and
Yeah.
everything.
But yeah, you were mentioning about the Sony. That was the other big news we wanted to talk about today. The previous CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment is leaving, or is he leaving, or did
Yeah.
he
Well,
get-
let me explain all this.
Okay,
So.
yeah, I'll let you take the floor because you're the PlayStation expert.
So with PlayStation, it's not as, I guess, obvious as it is for like Microsoft and Xbox. Like Xbox, you have Phil Spencer, and then they have like Major Nelson, who's like, kind of like a PR guy. Nick, really quick, do you remember who the guy is that runs their first party studios? He was at the XO18 in Mexico when they announced the acquisition of Obsidian.
Aaron Greenberg, maybe?
I think that's him. I think it's just an M.
I don't remember.
But anyways,
Look it up.
so Phil Spencer is like the head of Xbox, right? So when Andrew House was a previous Phil Spencer of PlayStation, and he decided to step down, and pretty much Sony put in John Codera, who's Japanese, into that role, but John Codera had a background of doing a lot of like networking and PSN stuff. So he got moved into the CEO role until they picked a full-time CEO. It's kind of like a temporary CEO. So then the announcement this month was that they're moving John Codera back to working strictly on PSN. He's familiar with it. That's what he's going to be doing is PSN. So he's not leaving the company.
Okay.
He wasn't forced to, step down.
Okay.
Him and the Sony CEO, the actual Sony Corp CEO, talked about it, and they talked about Sony. PlayStation is Sony's biggest moneymaker. PlayStation is super important to everything that Sony stands. It's their baby. Everything Microsoft has PCs and their Windows is kind of like their thing. PlayStation is Sony's like thing that makes them the most money. So they're moving some stuff around. John Codera, who was a previous CEO after Andrew House stepped down, he's gonna be working on PSN. He's become like a deputy president.
Okay.
And then now Jim Ryan is a new CEO of PlayStation. So Jim Ryan is kind of like the equivalent of like Phil Spencer for Sony.
Okay. Well, what about this guy who's always presenting at the E3 conferences?
So
is Sean Layton?
yeah.
Guy?
So Sean Layton, who you always see at the E3 press conferences, and he's been in the news recently about crossplay,
Yes,
and there is some information about that. but he is the chairman of Sony's first party studios. Okay, so that's why I asked Nick who the Xbox guy was, because that's the equivalent of him.
Okay.
So he's in charge of all the games being made for Sony, first parties.
Okay.
That's what he's in charge of. Then Shuhei Yoshida is the president of Robot Studios. Again, they're kind of like go hand in hand, but Sean Layden's one above Sean Layden. Sean Layden's one ahead above Shuhei Yoshida. But they all report to Jim Ryan now, come April. So Jim Ryan, who's I think been with PlayStation for over 27 years, he was recently in charge of Sony Interactive Entertainment in Europe. And Europe, as I don't think you guys mostly know, but has really shifted more towards being a PlayStation dominant market. And, whereas in the West, in the United States, you see a lot more people having Xbox Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's kind of like, I would say it's maybe split between Xbox One and PlayStation, with PlayStation having maybe a little bit more of a lead. But, it's probably
I'm
true.
waiting for Nick to look up the numbers and then cover that.
I have no idea
But,
what the numbers are.
So he's been
don't
very successful with
the
the brand of PlayStation in Europe, and he's to be the new head of PlayStation in the role of Phil Spencer. Even though he might not be on stage as much as Sean Layden and Shuhei Yoshida, he's really the new guy come April. But he's stuck his foot in his mouth a couple of times with mentions of backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I was seeing that where
crossplay.
he's not a big fan of the backwards compatibility.
Now again, he was talking about looking at Gran Turismo, and from the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then up until the PlayStation 4 Gran Turismo Sport. I don't know. I guess he might have said that as kind of like a way to, because Sony doesn't have backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
For the PlayStation 4, so why would he? Maybe it was more like maybe PR speak and company speak, where hey, don't talk about the good things about backwards compatibility, because we don't offer that yet. Even though the previous 3 consoles did offer backwards compatibility before Xbox did. So, that was kind of a weird comment for him, and then he mentioned about crossplay, that he said, what about the kids? I think he was worried about. I still don't even understand that quote. What about the kids? We must protect the kids or something. I don't understand that quote. Are kids gonna get?
I have no idea.
I don't get it, but but he's kind of like if you watch interviews with him, he's kind of doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Says what he wants to say.
I guess he's trying to say that he doesn't want the kids to experience the bad graphics of bad old games or something.
But again, here's the thing, though.
It seems like kind of a.
The only reason I would need backwards compatibility is for a new launch of a generation. Do any of us play really old games?
I do. I played Red Dead Redemption 1.
You did.
Or Red Dead Redemption
But
2
does the majority of the audience?
Witcher 1.
I don't play the
Witcher
games.
2. I've been going back and playing those.
I wouldn't call Red Dead Redemption a really old game either, though.
I've been playing Batman Arkham Asylum. But yeah, you're
I'm
talking
talking
original
pre-2010.
Xbox.
Pre-2010.
Is there more just a vocal minority about backwards compatibility than people actually want to use it?
There are a lot of people playing backwards compatibility on Xbox.
Do you have the numbers on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
For Sony, I don't think there's really any games I want to go back and play that from previous generations that I can think of.
I wouldn't mind.
With Xbox,
This is
at least Halo.
I'm playing Resistance.
But they have the.
This is from last year. It says Xbox One backwards compatibility logs over 1 billion hours of playtime. That's last year. That tells you a lot right there.
Yeah, but hours is Dom can put in 1,000 hours.
Yeah, but
on
if
one
you're talking
game.
about multiplayer
1%.
games like a Destiny or something like that, where it's why would you go back to a Destiny 1 when there's a Destiny 2, which is a better version of that?
I rather play the games
like that.
If it's a story game or something, then it would be it would be great to be able to go back and play them again. There's a game from the original Xbox that that's very nostalgic for me called Gladius. I'm never gonna be able to play that game again. It's never gonna be remade.
The control.
The only console I really want to get backwards compatible is Nintendo, because that would be sweet to be able to go back and play 64 games and all.
Well, now they're.
Older games.
I will say Nintendo is just. It's different. Cause I feel their art style just kind of holds up better than these realistic
Yeah, exactly. Because they weren't trying to have really good graphics.
colorful palettes, like kid-friendly looking.
They used what they had to work with, but all these other consoles tried to like make this stuff look good and didn't really make it look good, especially looking back at it now. Like back then you thought, oh, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking back now, it's like, oh, this looks like shit.
Yeah, but going back to this Jim Ryan guy, what do you think is the positive impacts of this guy taking over? Like, how is this gonna make PlayStation better in the future? Because you think this is a big shift, or is it just gonna be status quo? Like everything's.
I think it's gonna be pretty.
Going.
The only thing I'm afraid of for PlayStation is them getting cocky, like they did after the PS2 generation, with you know, the whole PS3 debacle that they had. And I feel like they really need to listen to their customers. I mean, they're the best platform. I guess that's subjective, but in terms of numbers wise, which is objective, you know, they had the most consoles out there. So, I mean, that's a stated fact. Like, nobody can really not agree with that. So even Nick, you do, you know, agree with that. But
Who sold more consoles in America? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna assume PlayStation.
I would guess. I don't know though.
And PlayStation's about to hit 100.
I
million.
don't know. I have to stay out of this.
But
I know the Xbox.
But
when
when-
Xbox One first came out, it got a ton of console sales, and then PlayStation had to play catch up. I think.
I don't agree with that. I want a source on that. I do not.
Where are you getting that?
Yeah, I do
It's
not
just
know
my
where you're getting.
general thought, because I thought of Xbox first.
PlayStation
Xbox
was
One
way
first.
ahead the whole
PlayStation was ahead the whole generation. Yeah.
Where are you getting your facts from?
It's
I want a source on this.
Okay, I will. Let me-
Okay.
They've been way ahead.
They've been way ahead. Xbox sold. Xbox sold their console at $500 with a Kinect, and with all the debacle they had with Don Matrix saying, "Well, if you don't want to play online, then go play on your 360." And you have to log into your console every 24 hours. People are pissed about
Well,
that.
Xbox was falling so far behind that they just stopped announcing their numbers on their console sales because they were like, last I heard, they were at like 30 million, and Sony was at like 70 million.
I don't know about this, but
Oh, it's definitely true, but
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna have to
definitely
do some
true.
fact checking
I
for
would
the
like-
next episode, and we're gonna have
I would
a statistics-based
I think Brett's
episode
bringing it
next
up for you
week.
right now.
I would be
so.
interested to see what the Xbox One X versus the Pro numbers are, personally.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to
I think
see.
if that
Okay.
if that would be
Well, the
close.
X's are
So this is
Okay.
according to the Motley Fool. The PlayStation
Motley
4
Fool.
launched.
What a great source!
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation 4
Must have made that
launched in
right.
the US on November 15th, and the Xbox One followed a week later. So there wasn't much time for sales to build up before year's end. But the PS4 was still the early winner, with 3.4 million units sold compared to the Xbox One's 2.4 million.
Well, those are very small numbers, though.
But again, that was only like a month in between.
But yeah, I think they were ahead the entire generation by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah.
It's
In
so
the
hard to
United
figure out any
States.
numbers because you don't.
Oh, wow.
even know.
That's what we were talking. I thought that's what we were talking about. Was in the United States.
I don't know. Those would be hard numbers.
Those would be hard numbers to come up with. I'm looking at Polygon right now, I guess with more,
Reputable
Okay, I've heard
source.
of that one before.
Brett's being quiet.
so
That's not good.
previously the two companies were quick to
He's
publicly...
picking out which paragraph he wants.
No,
to
because it's information. Earlier this month, Sony announced it had sold 2.1 million consoles worldwide. The following week, Microsoft said it passed the 2 million mark in 18 days on the market. So it's kind of like, you know... What the...
Xbox would only announce it whenever they got ahead of Sony's previous number.
But
Sony's like, oh, we got
you
2
can't-
million this
but
week.
that's not the
Xbox
fact
comes
of-
like a month.
the
Oh,
fact
we
is
got 2
today
million.
that PlayStation is doubling Xbox 2 to 1. Yeah.
For what about Pro versus the X though? I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know because Microsoft doesn't release their numbers anymore, and I don't think Sony separates them because that would make the Pro look a little bit worse, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I
they
honestly
probably
don't
don't bring
think the
numbers.
Pro is doing really like that great.
I'm
really.
sure it's doing fine.
Two in this
Most people, I
household.
think the majority of people buy just the regular one, but
There's 2 in this household.
I mean it's not even full 4K, so.
But yeah, the X is definitely a lot bigger of an upgrade compared to what I just don't know if
Yeah.
the developers are
I just-
using the full power.
I mean, I don't want to turn this whole
Well, yeah,
Gamescast into a console
You have an
port,
X, right? Or Xbox One X. And you played like Forza and stuff. Is it
Yeah,
like
it's full
really
4K.
noticeable how great the
Yeah.
like big of an upgrade
Yeah,
is?
it's definitely
Yeah.
noticeable going to that full 4K resolution on games.
See,
like
for
Forza.
someone who plays it, he probably notices it.
Mhm.
And
But, like-
I noticed it on Call of Duty too this year.
Because I had the
Coming
same
over
thing
here.
like with God of War. I played it on my console for, you know, through the whole game, and I came and saw you playing on your TV, and I'm like, damn, this doesn't look as good on yours, but you probably don't notice the difference
Yeah, I have
between
no
mine
idea
and yours.
what this is. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing with the Xbox. Like I went over to his house and saw Forza, and I'm like, this looks pretty much exactly the same, but he probably notices more of a difference having played it on his console all the time and then switching to mine.
I think people kind of besides the core hard fanboys. I think it's just about the games that they have. Like, I mean, I tell you, if Xbox had a God of War game, you best believe I would buy that game on Xbox. Like, I want to play good games with good stories and be able to.
I don't think you would.
You don't think I would?
I don't think you buy it on Xbox.
Again, like people need to understand. Like I've had an Xbox since the OG. Like I don't. Besides Scott, you had an OG Xbox, but like you guys don't have OG Xboxes. Like I played Halo 1 and Halo 2 on the OG. Like I've had an Xbox throughout my whole video game, I guess, life. You know, so like I was rooting for them hard, but then it's like I have nothing to play on there. Like you guys buy all your multiplayer games on there. Like I already play that stuff on my PlayStation with people that have similar interests to me. And same thing with you guys. You guys have friends that play the same games that you guys have to play, and that's why you guys go on Xbox.
Yeah, I played Apex on both consoles, so I mean,
You're the ultimate gamer then.
yeah, what about
Yeah,
you? Do you play on
the
both
expert of everything.
He's expert on everything.
Well, that's another thing to bring up is crossplay. Sony doesn't seem like they want to do that very much.
Well, I guess there's.
Yeah.
They try to claim they do, but they don't because they don't let the developers do it.
When it comes down to it, they don't do it.
Yeah, they'll say, oh yeah, we
Whereas-
want to do it, and then the developers come to them asking to do it, and they're like, oh, we don't want to do it.
Yeah, whereas
Exactly.
with Microsoft, I don't know how they feel about crossplay with PlayStation, but they're big
Oh,
on the
oh, Phil's
crossplay.
Oh, Xbox is way
Yeah.
more in the
Yeah,
crossplay.
Well,
Yeah,
I know
Microsoft-
that they're
Microsoft
big
wants it
into
anywhere,
between
pretty
PC and Xbox and everything.
Yeah, I don't understand Sony.
Microsoft doesn't want to put restrictions.
With
like
some
that.
of the
Yeah,
stuff they
that's-
do, like turning down the
And
EA
I think that
access.
would be cool to be able to
It's
play
better
with
for all the
people
gamers,
across-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like another thing with PlayStation. They didn't want the EA access.
Yeah, I don't know what's
that
up with
at
them
all.
like trying to turn down.
Oh
some
yeah, I
of
love the
stuff.
EA Access subscription.
Yeah, PlayStation turned it down.
Yeah, I don't understand that because that was like a great deal for the consumers, and I love having that on my Xbox. I can
Oh,
get
yeah.
any, I can get like the 10-hour trial. Like I could probably try out Anthem for 10 hours.
Oh,
if I
they're
wanted.
gonna probably have the 10 hours.
They'll definitely have the 10-hour trial.
I
Yeah, every
probably
game,
will try it out
so-
on a 10-hour
So
trial.
I'll try out the
Yeah.
10-hour trial, and then I'll make my decision from there. Because it's
$5
kind of a
for a
game.
month.
It's a kind of game I'm on the fence about. So
Mm-hmm.
getting that little 10-hour trial will definitely make up my mind.
All right, I think that's all I had
Yeah.
today. So we
Yeah,
definitely
short
had a
episode.
lively.
What was our main topic?
Well, we talked about Anthem.
Move on.
What do you
Move
mean?
on Nintendo Direct. We're not going to talk about Nintendo Direct.
Oh,
Come on,
Nintendo
Mouse.
Direct. Do you want to
Oh,
talk about
I
Nintendo
don't know much
Direct?
about that.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Let's hear your Nintendo expert. We
Well,
we
you
talked a lot about Microsoft and
Did you
PlayStation.
should watch
Let's
it because me and Brett were watching. it.
devote some time to Nintendo Direct. So what is this announcement? What is Nintendo?
Well, they had a whole direct. It was what, like an hour and a half, Brett, something like that.
No, it was like 35 minutes.
35 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
Well, I don't know. Did we watch it from the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, well.
We missed
Okay, yeah, it was like
we missed
35
Super Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, because they announced Super Mario Maker 2. Well, I don't have my phone, mate, so I don't have any of these numbers. Did they announce like a release date on that at all?
Yeah, let me pull up right here on Reddit.
Yeah, because I had it up on my phone, but then I had to record on my phone because your phone's a piece of shit and just stops recording me.
Alright, shut the fuck up. Hold on.
So yeah, they announced Super Mario Maker 2. They didn't really show a whole lot on it. It was just a little trailer for it. But I don't know if that got a release date. And then they gave a release date on Fire Emblem Three Houses officially, which was like mid-June.
Okay.
It was an actual solid release date. I don't know the exact date, but they showed a lot on that game because that was basically what the whole
Yeah,
direct
you're
was
pretty
centered around.
excited about that game.
Yeah, the whole direct was centered around that game, and they showed like kind of what the story's about, and that game looks cool. It's the first Switch Fire Emblem game besides
Okay.
like Fire Emblem Warriors, which is kind of just a little spin-off thing, but this is the first mainline series game for it. which Nick, I don't know if you're excited about that at all. Are you gonna get a Switch for that?
For what?
Fire Emblem Three Houses?
I might. Well, I want to get a Switch for a lot of games, so hopefully this year I'll get one.
Okay, this is a lot
Is
of
that an
writing here.
overview of everything they talked about?
Yeah, nothing has like release dates or anything. It's supposed to be very good.
Fire Emblem had a Three Houses had a release date.
It was like mid-June, I know that. I just don't know the exact date. Let's see, what else did they... Oh yeah, Link's Awakening. I forget about that.
I'm reading about that right now.
They had a nice trailer for Link's Awakening where it started off, he was on like a little boat and Brett was sitting there and he started freaking out. He's like, oh, Wind Waker! Wind Waker!
Don't tell the
Oh my
fans,
gosh.
dude!
Because he saw like the little cap or whatever, and then they finally showed like the full view of Link, and it was a different art style.
Obviously, yeah.
And yeah, once he saw that, he knew it wasn't gonna be.
So this is actually a remake of Game Boy Link, huh?
Back in the early 90s, I believe, too.
I actually played through. I think
The Game Boy Classic.
I think I played through this whole thing because they had it ported to like the Advanced Game Boy Advance or whatever, and I think I played through most of this game, if not the whole thing. But I'm excited to definitely go back and play this one because they have like Mario characters in this game too. Just kind of
Really?
I think it's the first. Did you say it's the first Zelda game? I don't know. No, not
The first
one.
Zelda game was on
No.
NES.
Yeah.
So it was an early on Zelda game, but I think it came out in did they say 93?
I think it was 93.
It is. It was very early on, and they have some Mario characters, which is cool. Everyone was like,
Yeah, they only have one.
everyone was wondering why is there Mario characters in this, and that's just how it was back. When this
Is it
game
like
came out.
Chain Chomp in that game and
Yeah, I
stuff?
think there were some Goombas
Okay.
too, like just basically Mario, like the bad guys from Mario, not really any Mario characters. And also Tetris 99, which is kind of like a battle royale Tetris. sort
That's a
of
little
thing.
bit weird, don't
Free
you
to
think?
play.
It is free to play. It's a little bit weird, don't you think,
And they,
though?
I thought something interesting here. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of weird. But
yeah, it's kind of odd placement. I don't know. That game's old as fuck. That's when Assassin's Creed come out. It was like that was last gen, right? So
yeah, it was, I think.
well, 4 was even last gen. So
Yeah. Well, that was on both, but yeah, it was. Then we got Fire Emblem.
Unravel 2. Get a little Yarny action in on the Switch.
Yarny.
Isn't he a
But that's reference to the E3 guy. I don't know if you guys saw. What was that E3 like 2014 or something like that?
Nah, I'm literally on that, like 16 or 17, but
16 or 17?
he was a super nervous and awkward, and like I would be I think we would all be fucking shaky
I
for.
remember watching this.
Yeah, I think we.
He's shaking.
I think we would all be. We shouldn't be making fun of him because I know I would be shaking if I had to talk in front of all those fucking people and in front of cameras and shit. But
yeah. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I think they announced was coming out this summer. I don't know if they gave a solid release date on that either. And I think that's pretty much it for the big news. They showed a lot of Dragon Quest at the
the definitive edition.
And they're having Final Fantasy 9 and 7.
I think they announced like a beta for the
9 and
game
10 or
Ex
9,
Machina
8 and
too. And an update for Smash Bros. Which
Nice.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It is
Seven-
Final Fantasy
7 and
7.
9.
It is 7 and 9. I've already seen Cloud. That's right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
like Astral Chain, developed by Platinum Games. I don't remember now.
It was a new IP that
Oh, it had like 2 characters.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think I passed out. Like I blacked out. Like I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about it, but I thought it looked pretty cool. It looked like
Yeah, I think that's what my grandpa whenever that happened.
because Platinum games are usually pretty fun gameplay, but yeah, that's about it for the direct. There wasn't a whole lot of crazy stuff. We knew it was going to be centered around Fire Emblem for that direct. I was hoping for like an Animal Crossing release date or something, but
Yeah.
I need that release date.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because like you go like on Reddit and stuff, and people are saying, "Well, I hope they show Animal Crossing or Pokemon, or Pikmin." Or, I'm like, listen, they told you straight up that the main thing was gonna be Fire Emblem.
Mhm.
Like Pokemon's gonna get their own direct for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be their own.
How
Pokemon.
often do they do direct? Like
Seems like every
It's
couple.
random,
Yeah,
it's
it seems like every couple months, I would
Okay.
say. So they'll probably have one maybe in April or May
Yeah.
before E3. Either they'll have their own like E3 Direct, but I guess it's called a Treehouse Direct or whatever.
Okay.
But I hope that we hear some Pokemon news soon because I want to make sure that my first pick is released this year. So Pokemon Gen 8.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that'll be out this year. I'm kind of worried about like Luigi's Mansion. I think Animal Crossing will be out this year too, but
Oh, if Animal Crossing is coming out, I'm gonna have to buy a Switch.
they might be announcing Pikmin pretty soon too. But,
I'm gonna buy Pikmin.
I'm surprised they haven't said anything about Pikmin at all this generation.
it's gotta be soon. It's been out for a couple of years now, so.
Yeah, that's all you have, Scott.
Alright, so we're good to wrap up now. So make sure you keep on checking out our videos. I know that streaming wise, I'm gonna be doing the finale of Celeste
Whoa.
next Tuesday.
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
was
just
watching
stream
that.
to the end of it because I'm gonna be on the last chapter
Okay.
starting on Tuesday. So I'm just gonna do the entire last chapter of the game on Tuesday. And then next Thursday, I don't know what I'm gonna stream yet. I wanted to see about Anthem, but when I tried doing the demo, testing out streaming stuff with the demo that was on PC, the frame rate was not cooperating. It was not good
Oh, yeah.
for streaming. I couldn't stream it, but we'll see if I get it on Xbox or PlayStation. We'll see if the streaming is any better on that. And you might get a Anthem stream. But I'm still up in the air about whether I want to get it for Xbox or PlayStation yet. Right now, I can't play any online games for EA on Xbox because I had a whole mishap with my EA account was deleted because I had multiple EA accounts.
Oh jeez.
And so I had called them up like 2 weeks ago or something to delete the account that had no games in my origin library.
You should talk to Lars about Battlefield and say
Oh
that
my
game
goodness.
sucks. Lars.
I was
You know what I'm talking about?
so bad because I was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. It's not connected to the email address I use. Well, that's the account that was linked to my Xbox. I didn't think it was. And so now there's this whole debacle of trying to get it relinked. And it's been 2 weeks. It's been in the queue to be deleted. And they're like, you have to wait until it's completely deleted before you can relink any games. So I can't play Apex Legends online or... and so I might get it for PlayStation because I can't play it on Xbox right now. So that was disappointing. If I get my EA account back on Xbox by Thursday, I'll probably get Anthem for Xbox. Otherwise, I'll get it for
It's not
PlayStation.
messed up on PlayStation, your EA account?
I haven't linked EA account on PlayStation yet because I haven't played any.
Well, you don't have PlayStation Plus though.
No, I don't have PlayStation Plus. But if I got it for PlayStation, I'd probably get PlayStation Plus for a month or however long we play it for.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of streaming,
yes, I was gonna ask.
yeah, so
Resident Evil, you're up
Monday, February 18th. Today's what, 16th? Yeah, February 18th. Last Resident Evil 2 stream, episode 10. We're gonna finish the game. We better wrap this up before Rocky's going crazy.
Yep.
So, rock on, dudes.
And I'm gonna bring you guys episode number.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a
I
couple
know
weeks
it's been
now.
highly anticipated. The episode number 6, I think, of Ori and Blackmore.
Who gives a fuck
Oh,
about
a lot of people give a fuck based on
I
those views.
do. I enjoy it.
Mine's the most viewed stream.
Ori and the Will of the
gonna be
Wisp.
huge.
What the fuck name is
People are
that?
interested in that Xbox exclusive
Oh yeah, it's
game.
gonna be full
Yeah.
4K, I can't wait.
Who develops that game?
Huh?
Who develops Ori and the
Moon
Wisp?
Studios.
Yeah.
Moon Studios? Are they independent and just contractually? Yeah, they're independent, aren't they? They're not owned by
I'm
Microsoft.
pretty sure they're not positive.
I think they are. I don't know though.
Aren't they changing
not a big
Microsoft
studio, so-
to Xbox?
Yeah,
Studios
that's a
now
new
also?
announcement that it's called Xbox Game Studios now. Instead of Microsoft
They're
Studios.
trying to get up
Okay.
there.
Yeah, they did announce that. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. Alright. Thank you for tuning in. As always, subscribe to Take Aim Games.
Sean,
Like our
you are
videos.
next in this chair.
Wait, which song?
Sean King and or
Oh,
Sean Mills.
Yes, either one.
So either you guys are invited to be on this
Both of
chair. So.
Well, we're gonna have like a 7-man show. Like we'll bring Nick in.
Hey, we'll bring
Paul
Jared
Collins.
back. We'll bring Jared back.
Yeah, we'll have a
Bring
rotation
my
of
cousins in.
special guests.
Let's bring everybody in here. Let's have a huge ass party. Let's fucking do it.
Take Aim Games.
Take Aim Games is where it's at. Take Aim
That's right.
Games. After party, we're gonna be fucking hammered. Scott's gonna be drunk. See him
Wait, I am?
pull. So, he might do something crazy you don't know. So
Because I'm pretty crazy.
we'll plan it for June or July.